afternoon to culés from around the world, and welcome to the Mercedes-Benz Arena, where shortly Ronald Koeman's team will face their third friendly match of the season against a more demanding rival than they have faced to date, namely VfB Stuttgart. I'm trying to get the pronunciation right, and you're watching it right here on Barça TV+. After having beaten Nàstic de Tarragona and Girona with relative ease at the Estadio Johan Cruyff, Barça will face what is now up-to-date a side who has finished ninth in the last season's Bundesliga in what was their return to the German top flight after a year in second division. And joining me is one of our trusted voices right here of Barça TV+. I'm talking about ex-Arsenal and Ireland goalkeeping legend and football analyst Emma Byrne. Hello, Emma.
Hi, Diego. How are you?
I'm very good. And yourself?
Very, very good. Excited to be here. Excited to get the season started, and looking forward to see how this young Barca side fare out.
Indeed, indeed. And as I mentioned before, Emma, it is the third preseason friendly. What are you most excited for this third game?
Well, I think this man here it's going to be very interesting to see how he fits into the team. Memphis Depay, I think he did well when he came on against Girona. Very, very physical, very direct, something different we haven't seen with the Barca team before. But also you have an absolute abundance of youth team players joining in, and they're really showing that they can live up to the standard here in the first team.
Absolutely. I mean, the youngsters have been taking care of business so far this preseason, exceeding some of our expectations, no doubt about it. And we can't wait to get the ball rolling, of course. For our viewers who have not yet subscribed to Barça TV+, make sure you use the link below. It is really, really easy. It'll just take a couple of minutes and you will not regret it. Barça TV+, your home of all of your Barça content. What are you waiting for? Go ahead and subscribe. But now let's head over to our pitchside reporter all the way over in Stuttgart, Bruno Ballester. Bruno, I hear you've got the lineups ready.
Yes, Diego, Emma, hello. Finally, we are here at the Mercedes-Benz Arena. After the delay of 1 hour, the game will start and will kick off at 7 p.m. for a big traffic jam. But yes, the most important thing, we have the lineups. And today, the 11 players that will defend Barca's butts are Neto in goal. In defense, Sergi Roberto, Piqué, Lenglet, and Dest. Dest will play in the left, Sergi Roberto in the right. Some news and important changes in midfield. Nico, González, De Jong and Gavi, two of the youngsters that will start in this game against Stuttgart in midfield. And up from Griezmann, Memphis and Yusuf Demir. Yusuf Demir, of course, the new signing of Barça B, the Austrian youngster. And it will be interesting to see Memphis and Griezmann's positions, because probably they will switch during the first half and during the game. So these are the players selected by Koeman. And in the bench today, Ronald Araujo, Sergio Pjanic, Braithwaite, Ricky Puig, Arnau Comas, Jordi Alba, Remanay, Balde, Umtiti, Collado, Iñaki Peña, Nils and Arnau Tenas. A long list in the bench. As you know, 25 players are in this training camp in Germany.
Well, thank you so much, Bruno, for that starting 11 and a list of the players that are also on the bench. Emma, we're of course used to rotations happening at this phase in the preseason, but what are you looking out for in Koeman's starting 11, having a look now that Bruno's given us this exclusive look at the starting 11?
Well, I definitely think he's trying out his defensive format, really. And I know with Busquets missing, it's really obvious that that place needs to be filled. And, you know, Busquets is not getting any younger. So I really feel like Koeman's trying to find that holding midfield player. And I think with Nico González, it is a very typical player to fit that position. He's strong, he's physical, he's very good positionally. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how he does. Also, Koeman needs to see how Memphis is going to fit into this side as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see how he, Griezmann and Demir fits in. And speaking of Demir, Yusuf Demir, I think is going to be an absolutely fantastic talent for the first team. He's already showed that he has got amazing skills, left-footed, he can take players on. So I'm very, very excited to see how those front three play today.
Yeah, the youngster, the young Austrian, has been very present in the preseason so far. Has not been shy to step up the occasion and demand the ball from his teammates, something that has certainly stood out. But you mentioned another key name, Memphis Depay. Obviously, the newly arrived Dutchman got his, not just his first goal, but his first start for the team against, for his team Barça against Girona in the last friendly. But we're going to see him in the starting 11 today, Emma.
Yeah, and, you know, he came on against Girona and he showed, you know, what he can do as he did in the Euros. He's very, very strong, very physical. He likes to be challenged. He has the personality that he's quite, you know, he brushes off insults and things like that. So he's the type of player that wants to be challenged and, you know, he's a fighter. But I'm just not so sure how he's going to fit into this team because he's got a lot of competition up there. You know, there's a lot of players that can fill in that position, but it's going to take a little bit of time. And, you know, we've seen that with Griezmann as he came into the starting team. It took a long time for him to connect with the other players. So I think it's going to be very similar for Memphis. And, you know, you have to give him that time. And this is the perfect time for him to come in pre-season and show what he can do.
Now, of course, you mentioned the adaptation that players need, the time that they need to get adapted to the team, to get climatized and used to their new teammates. But from what you've seen from Memphis so far, particularly in that first game, of course, not just in the practices, but that game against Girona, what stood out to so many of us was how active he was as well. We talk about Yusuf Demir being present. The same can be said about Memphis in that sense, being very active, looking for that goal as well, being sought out by his teammates, making those runs time and time again. Even when the ball wasn't being passed to him, he was still making those runs. Are those are those positive signs that we should take into account when looking at him and judging him?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got loads and loads of energy. That's pretty obvious. And he wants to get on the ball. He wants to prove himself, and he's eager to do that. I think that was fairly obvious during the game. And he does make clever runs, intelligent runs, and he's very, very physical and strong, as I've previously mentioned. And what I'd like to see today is his knowledge of the game and if he does get into good positions, his final ball, because I think that lacked a little bit in the last game against Girona. But as I said, you need to give him a little bit of time to settle in.
Now, Koeman's team, of course, has not just brought in reinforcements at the top, but also in the back line. In particular, the arrival of Emerson Royal, of course, has many of us culés very excited indeed. He arrived today. He'll be presented officially on Monday. Again, you can see the presentation, as all of the presentations, live on Barça TV+. So make sure you don't miss out and set that reminder, 5:30 Central European Time, live on Barça TV+. But Emma, when it comes to Emerson, what are you most impressed by the ex-Betis players?
Well, he's extremely athletic, and I think it's something that we needed in that right-back position. We tried to fill it in with Mingueza and with Dest, who is also very good, but it was just something that was lacking, particularly when it comes to Champions League level and a very high level. But I think with him, particularly with Royal, I think he's very good at keeping the ball, keeping possession, which is very important for this team. And that gives the other players confidence to push on when he's on the ball, because they know he's not going to lose the ball. He's very good at overlapping, he's got experience, good at getting forward, and he's also good at defending, which for me is the most important thing for Barça Football Club at the moment.
Exactly. It was one of the key points as well that we discussed along with our other football analyst, Andrea Orlandi, in those other preseason friendlies when discussing Emerson Royal, the defensive efforts of this Brazilian as well. But let's talk a little bit about also newly arrived Kun Agüero. He had his first training session with Barça yesterday, came back early from his holidays as well after winning the Copa America, and is already hitting the pitch and of course getting into shape what is going to be undoubtedly another very demanding season. Regarding Kun Agüero, what are your expectations?
Well, I mean, everybody's expecting great things from him. He's a very experienced player. We've seen what he can do with City and in the Premier League. He's already proved that he's a top player. Again, another player that's not getting any younger. I think if Barca can get 2 good seasons from him, it will be a very, very good thing. But in general, what he will bring to this team, which is what it has lacked in the last year, 2 years, is that centre forward position, that out and out number 9. He can play a little bit deeper, but he's a better poacher and he's better up top as the focal forward point, and he makes extremely intelligent runs, which is going to be vital for the connection with Messi, and you know that's extremely important. And I'm sure that is one of the main reasons he's been brought to the club, is that connection with Messi. And I just think it's exactly what the club need. They need someone to stay up high, make really clever runs, and of course he's able to finish. He's able to finish on a dime. He doesn't need much time or much space, which is, again, something that was lacking last season.
Now, Emma, another new arrival who is currently partaking in the Olympics over in Tokyo is Eric Garcia, of course. In fact, Spain progressed to the semi-finals where they will face Japan. But on the topic of Eric Garcia, I've been sort of calling it the return of the prodigal son. There's of course a lot of comparisons that have been made between him and Gerard Piqué for having left the youth ranks to have their experience over in the UK and then return. Eric Garcia returns at a very young age, but will he already be an immediate fit given his past within the club for Koeman's system?
I think so. As you said, he's just 20 years old. He's very, very young. He grew up with the Barça methodology. He knows exactly what the team needs, wants, and what they expect from him. He's also very, very versatile, playing centre back. He can play right back. He can play holding midfield, which for me I think it might end up being his position. He could end up replacing Busquets in time. He's only 20, so he has time to fit into that position. But again, another player that's extremely good on the ball and keeping the ball. And that's a massive thing, again, for this team, that they have the confidence in the players that can keep the ball and won't give the ball away and allow a counter-attack, because that's exactly where the holes were last season and where they suffered.
Now, Emma, from one youngster to the next, this preseason has certainly been marked by the excellent performances of several youngsters, two of which will be included in Koeman's starting lineup. That is the case of Nico Gonzalez and Yusuf Demir, two players who you've mentioned already, so you've been impressed with.
Yeah, particularly Yusuf Demir, and I think everybody can see his potential now. He's extremely good in attacking play. He's been compared with Messi, which for me is never a good thing because it's massive shoes to fill. But he is extremely good, and he gets in really good positions. He's very, very quick, very, very lively around the area, and he's not afraid to shoot as well. So he will take chances when he can. And then also you have Nico Gonzalez, which I've spoken about already, as a holding midfielder. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he does today. It's a position I believe that we're lacking in. So he has the physique to play there. He's good positionally, as long as he stays in that anchor role and stops that counter-attack when we give the ball away.
Well, we've certainly been treated to an exhibition of these youngsters. And in case you haven't been able to watch it, make sure you subscribe to Barça TV Plus. Again, the link is in the description below. It will just take a couple of minutes and you will be able to see with your very own eyes everything that Emma just discussed in the cases of Nico and Yusuf. But there are so many more. Alex Balde, of course, the coming of Eric Garcia, etc., etc. But Emma, let's talk a little bit more about those two friendlies that have already been taking place. Barça relatively comfortable beating Nàstic de Tarragona and Girona as well. In the case of Nàstic, however, it was the youngsters in the second half that had to take care of business.
Yeah, it did. It took a little while to get them to find their feet. I mean, the first goal came in the 60th minute, which is unlike Barça, particularly in pre-season friendlies. But, you know, they found their way in the end. But it was a great display from the youngsters. And I think that this is what it's all about. I think it's very important for the defence to build that confidence and to keep clean sheets when they can. And then also for the youngsters to come in and show exactly what they can do. And I think this guy here, Minaj, am I pronouncing that correctly, Diego?
Yes, I'm rolling with that.
I think he's been extremely impressive as well. And he plays like a very experienced player, and he hasn't got as much experience in the first team as others, obviously. But I think he's been very good. I think Collado, who's the captain of the B team, has been very good. He's shown a lot of experience. It's time for him now to step up, I believe. And Menage's first goal against Nastic was very, very good. It was very nice to watch, very strong, really good turn, and he just blasted the back of the net. Just shows his confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rey Manage so far in this preseason has scored 4 goals in those 2 games. It might have potentially been 5 against Girona. He stepped up to take the penalty, but there was a hierarchy and a pecking order, according to Gerard Piqué. So he kindly brushed him to the side and asked him politely if he could take the penalty instead. And it was Gerard Piqué's, of course, penalty that opened the deadlock and allowed Barça...
Just about, by the way. Just creeped over the line.
With a bit of fortune, the Girona goalkeeper indeed tapped it in with the other hand, but it did allow it to break the deadlock. Rey Manage did get his goal in that game as well, but what were some of your takeaways from that friendly against Girona?
I think, again, I'm talking a lot about Yusuf Demir a lot, but he was so impressive in this game as well. Also, Alex Balde, again, very, very impressive, very nice left foot. He's the one who got the penalty in the first place because of his skill and his want to take on a player. And you could see him when he's on the ball, slightly different to Jordi Alba, as Jordi Alba finds his space from runs off the ball. Alex Balde is very good at taking players on, so he's just a different player to Jordi Alba. And you could see that against Girona. When he got on the ball, he wanted to take players on, and in fact is how we got the penalty. So again, we're talking about youth and Menage and Yusuf Demir and for me Alex Balde as well. And it was just generally it's just a really good display from the U team, and it's very, very promising because Koeman will have to depend on these players as we can't make those big signings.
Absolutely, Emma. And let's head back over to Stuttgart to our pitchside reporter Bruno Ballester, because he had a little chat with Ronald Koeman's right-hand man, Schreuder.
Yes, of course, it has been also a busy week for all the staff. They are preparing almost every single day global sessions and important days for all of them to prepare the 21-22 campaign. The players have left right now the pitch. They are going to the locker rooms before the kickoff of this match. But of course, we have talked with Alfred Schreuder, assistant manager of Ronald Koeman, like every single game. Let's hear from him pre-match reactions. As always, here we are with the assistant manager of FC Barcelona, Alfred. Good evening. Well, a bit of delay, a big classic jam, but finally Barça has arrived here.
Yes, of course, we had a 1 hour delay. It was excellent on the highway, but we're happy that we're here and that we can play a game.
Let's start with the lineup. 3 youngsters that will play today with Nico and Gavi midfield, Yusuf Demir up front. What are you expecting of all of them?
No, they do very well in the pre-season, and of course it's a big opportunity to play against Stuttgart. It's a very good team, a big stadium, and we look now to ourselves, and they do very well in the pre-season.
What about of the rest of the squad with Memphis up front today in a big venue like this one? Also Antoine Griezmann will start the game. What else about the rest of the squad?
Yeah, so of course it's good that they can start. They're already now 1 week, more than a week in training, so it's important for us that they start to play, and hopefully they can play 60 minutes.
And what about the Stuttgart? It changes a lot, the preparation when you were playing against Nastic or Girona, a third and second division team, or now against a Bundesliga team. They ended 9th last campaign.
Yes, they are a very good team, very strong, physically very good. I saw in the lineup that they have also a few changes, so they will not play normally, I think, with the starting 11, but we know it's a very good team and a good club.
And the last one, Alfred, Stuttgart today with also the fans in the stands. How is it going to feel for all the players to have this
I think that's what we're waiting for, of course. It was a hard 1.5 years almost with COVID, and if you see now the public in the stadium and the crowd is waiting outside when we arrived, and that's of course what you need also, and what makes football very nice.
Thank you, Alfred.
Thank you.
So the words of Alfred Schreuder in this preview of the Stuttgart Barça game. the words of Alfred Schroeder, of course, happy to have fans back in the stadium. And Barca will face Stuttgart today, a team from the Bundesliga. They will play with a 3-4-2-1 system, and the lineup selected by Stuttgart are Fabian Bredlow in goal, with Pascal Svenzel, Atakan Karasor and Kemp in defense. In midfield, Roberto Massimo, Richard Will, Philippe Clement and Dominique Notangel, with two attacking midfielders, as we said, with Mateo Limbovic and Philippe Clement, and up front, Manuel Postel. Stuttgart have suffered some players with positives for COVID-19, some important absences, also other players that are in the Olympics. But of course, it will be a tough game for Barcelona today here in this Mercedes-Benz Arena, with a sold out of 25,000 spectators, 1/3 of the capacity. In a place today in this Mercedes-Benz Arena where before the warm-up, President Joan Laporta has shared and they have gave presents between both presidents. Also, the Peña Blaugrana Stuttgart has been present here in the stadium. There is a great atmosphere, and of course, everyone wants to enjoy from this experience, enjoying Barca playing in their country and in their stadium.
And enjoy, we will, no doubt about that. And for all the viewers, again, if you want to continue to enjoy watching this match, make sure you sign up to Barça TV Plus. The link in the description below. It'll only take a couple of minutes. Go and do it now so you don't miss out on any of this good action that is about to kick off over in Stuttgart. Emma, we heard from Bruno, we heard him give the starting 11 for the home side for Stuttgart. Of course, a side that is heavily conditioned by the COVID cases that were positive for the team. So lots of youngsters from their youth team also participating in today's game. But what should we look out for with this team led by Pellegrino Matarazzo?
Well, I think any German side you play, they're going to be very physical. They're going to be, strong. They're going to be direct, dangerous with set pieces. As you said, it is a team. It's probably a very young team for them. Not generally their starting 11. So I think it's also a test for them as well to see how they do. You know, the manager, Matarazzo, is probably going to try out some of his players. It is pre-season after all. But I think in general, it's set pieces that Barca need to be careful of. You know, defend. They need to defend well. No mistakes, because I think Stuttgart will pounce on that. And I think Philipp Forster, for example, 27, German, very, very direct, very strong, and I think they need to look out for him.
Now, Emma, this team, we mentioned it as well from Alfred Schroeder. They have already had more weeks to prepare. Of course, this is, in fact, their last test before the first competitive game in the DFB Cup against Dynamo Berlin. And subsequent to that, they'll have the league opener already as well. So how do the coaches approach these type of friendlies when it's deep into their preseason and just about when the competitive action really is about to start?
Yeah, it's difficult because, you have to try and protect your players also. You want them ready for the up-and-coming game, the start of the season. But you also want your last game to be in a win. You want to win your last game, so you're going into the season with confidence. And it's very difficult to do that when you're playing against a team like Barca. So I think basically what Pellegrino Matarazzo has done, he's trying out his young players. They've lost a couple of players with positive COVID tests, and also they've got players in the Olympics. So it's just about keeping your players fit, the ones you have, and trying to protect the players for the start of the season.
Excellent. Well, the action is about to kick off, but let's head over one more time to our pitchside reporter, Bruno, because Bruno, you've been with the players, you've joined them in the camp. How have things been over there?
It's always really special when a team is in this kind of training camp with the youngsters learning from the veteran players. They are working a lot. They are really focused on the new season. And of course, we have lived and we are living a great experience. It's also shocking to see all these people in the crowd today, 25,000 spectators, how they want to enjoy this game. And the team, FC Barcelona, after playing this game, they will move back to the hotel, hopefully with a bit less of traffic jam, and then then they will have 2 more days in Germany. On Tuesday they will travel to Austria, because on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central European time the team will play the last friendly of this training camp against Red Bull Salzburg. Of course, you will be able to follow live this game on Barça TV+. It's time to go to our positions because the stewards here need to cover this area, so it has been a pleasure and we will enjoy now the game, of course, here live on Barça TV+.
Thank you, Bruno. And well, the action is getting ready over in Germany. It sounds like it is a Champions League match, certainly the most atmosphere that we have seen so far in this preseason. So things are heating up, things are getting very excited. And again, folks, viewers, if you haven't yet signed up, make sure you do so right here on Barça TV+. You don't want to miss out on this action. This is promising to be a very good game indeed, and there's still more friendlies to come, of course. We're going to head over to Austria, and then we've got that mouth-watering clash over in the Johan Gamper Trophy with the men's and the women's team on August 8th against Juventus. That is it. We're about to kick off, so I'm signing off here along with Emma. Make sure you join us for this game, and we will see you when the game starts. Good afternoon again to culés from around the world, and welcome to the Mercedes-Benz Arena, where Ronald Koeman's men are about to partake in their third friendly against Stuttgart. In case you're just joining us, I am joined by our trusted football analyst and ex-Arsenal and Ireland goalkeeping legend, Emma Byrne. Emma, how excited are you right now? The atmosphere couldn't be better for this friendly.
Yeah, it's like pre-COVID times. It's great to see the fans in the stadium. The atmosphere, it seems electric, and you know, it's something that we've been waiting for a long time, and it really does make a difference to the players with the fans in the stadium. It really brings a different perspective to the game, and it's just great to see that things are getting back to normal.
Well, you saw the starting lineup already for the local team. We've got Brett Lowe in goal, and a back three made up of Stenzel, Karazor, and Kempf. In the middle, we've got Massimo, Weil, Clement, and Nothnagel, and up front, it is Klimovic, Bolster, and Förster. In the case of Barça, we've got Neto in goal, and a back line of 4 made up of Sergio Roberto, Piqué, Clément Lenglet, and Serginho Dest. In the middle, we've got Frenkie de Jong, Nico González, and Pablo Paez, or Gavi. And up front, it's Youssouf Demir, Antoine Griezmann, and Memphis. Things are slowly but surely getting ready, as the goalkeepers are going in between the sticks. And Emma, we talked about it in the pre-game show already, but what does this 11 of Ronald Koeman tell you?
Well, yeah, we've already spoken about it. About the youth coming in. He has his experienced players there, as we're just looking at Piqué. I think he's trying to get a feel for his defensive players. He knows it's somewhere that they need to build and to improve on from last season. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Griezmann and Memphis Depay play together. And, you know, Koeman will be watching these kind of things very, very closely.
Well, the ball is rolling here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena over in Stuttgart. We, of course, also have our very own pitchside reporter in Bruno Ballester. Bruno, by the pitch. Bruno, how's the atmosphere over in Germany?
It's just amazing, Emma, to be in a football ground, because, of course, it's my first time in a football stadium since months and years for all the pandemic, and to have here 20.
We'll be connecting shortly back with Bruno. We have a few technical problems, but excited is an understatement, I think, Emma. We heard him talk about him being back in the football stadium for the very first time since a long time, and I think that is the feeling for many of us, isn't it, Emma?
Absolutely, and I'm sure it was the connection, and I'm sure it wasn't Bruno with a lump in his throat, because I think he was getting a little bit emotional there.
He had to take a breather.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It really is, and you know, it's been really weird to go to a game like we've commentated on games in the stadium, and it's been really strange where there are no fans. It's very, very quiet. On the advantage, you can hear exactly what the managers and coaches are saying, so that was quite interesting. But I much prefer the fans back and the chants and the songs.
Well, we're hearing the jeers already towards Barça, and I don't think I've ever felt so warm inside getting whistled at by the opposition fans. So it's certainly a good sign that the fans are back in the stadium, and to see the ball rolling again with the fans along the side, of course. Bruno, we will connect back with you shortly, but let's have a look at what's going on here between Barça and Stuttgart, this third friendly of the season. I mentioned at the top of the show, this is Stuttgart's last friendly before their competitive games will start once again. And in the case of Barça, it is their third friendly. The first two, one against Nastic and Girona as well. It's the first foul for Barça.
Yeah, you could just see there Demir getting on the ball. It's definitely something that Stuttgart have looked at. As soon as he gets on the ball, there's 3 or 4 players around him, and it's like talking about Messi, to be quite honest, that the only way you can get the ball off him is to foul. So now it's about Barça making use of these chances and you know, trying to get their set pieces a little bit higher standard and scoring from them.
Well, in comes across. Frankie chases it down. Try to get possession again, and it'll go out for a throw-in. Here's Memphis, making his first start for Football Club Barcelona. Memphis, of course, was such a welcome signing, but Emma, we talked about it in the pre-show. You said he's going to have to fight for his position.
Yeah, I mean, Barça are flooded with attacking players, and we've seen it last season. It wasn't the problem. Okay, we needed to score more goals, but that's where Messi came in, and we were very, very good attacking-wise. You know, Trincao had to leave because of it, and you know, it's something that Memphis, I think, will enjoy, though. I've spoke about him being a fighter already. He enjoys a challenge. He knew exactly what environment he was coming into when he signed for Barça. He knew it was going to be difficult. So he's a confident player, and I fully believe that he believes that he can show exactly what level he has, and he believes that Koeman will favour him.
The man is certainly not lacking in confidence. Bruno Ballester, I hear that we've restored connection with you. We weren't sure if it was a lump in your throat or connection problems, but it's good to have you back.
Yes, Diego and Emma, I was saying that it's of course really impressive to be here with 25,000 spectators, a sold out today Mercedes-Benz Arena, and we are actually behind all the group of supporters of Stuttgart, so it's incredible to hear all of them cheering every single time that Barcelona are arriving to the opponent's box. First 4 minutes in the clock, and so far not big chances yet.
No big chances yet, but here's Barça on the attack. Good pass by Memphis to find Yusuf. Yusuf trying to find Griezmann, but a little bit too much mustard on that cross.
Yeah, just way too far. Griezmann tends to run in towards the goal. He likes to make very direct runs, so it was never going to be the case that he was going to stay wide. But it's interesting to see that Depay is actually playing a little bit deeper, and he's allowing Demir and Griezmann to stay a little bit higher, leaving that gap in that number 9 area. Whereas if Agüero was here and playing, that's exactly where he would be. He would be playing at that focal point right up the top and keeping Stuttgart stretched and deep.
Now, is that something that comes instinctively in these players to give each other space and sort of rotate in these roles, or is that something expressly told to them by head coach Ronald Koeman in this case?
I think it's something that they would be accustomed to. It's kind of like new age football. They tend to roam a lot. They tend to take up spaces all around the pitch. But I definitely believe that it's Koeman's style as well. It's certainly Barca's style to give the freedom to the attacking players. And it's something that Griezmann has had to adjust to a little bit, because there's times when they should roam, and then there are times when they should keep their space and keep the structure. And a player like Griezmann is very accustomed to just roaming constantly, and it didn't really work because then we didn't have the players in set positions, and we really need to stretch the game because teams like to be compact, to defend compact against us. and if we don't stretch them, it makes their job very, very easy. So in that case, you do need players to keep their position also.
Here's Griezmann, finds Memphis, will cut inside, will try a shot. His shot was blocked. Griezmann combining with Gabi. Again, Gabi, just 16 years of age. Emma, I never tired saying his age. It keeps amazing me.
It's like they're getting younger and younger, and we're getting older and older. And that's the way it is. It's just crazy. I mean, 16. He's a baby. He's younger than my nieces and nephews, and you can just see he just has such an old head on his shoulders. Just the way he receives the ball. His turn of play, his decision making is just fantastic. I mean, we spoke about Pedri and how young he is, and he is also just a baby, but 16 is on a different level. It's you know, he's really, really young, and imagine in another 10 years he's only going to be in the prime of his football, 26 at 26. So it's definitely an exciting time for him.
Indeed, he's absolutely exploded onto the scene. Such a regular for the Juvenil Asset, making his debut for the B team and now starting for the first team. Here's Memphis on the left. Serginho Dest, back to Memphis. Memphis looking for help. Pass it back to Gerard Piqué.
First start for Memphis Depay with FC Barcelona shirt after the other day against Girona. He replaced Remanage, and actually he scored in his debut, so a perfect way to start his era at Barça, scoring the penalty.
Absolutely, Bruno. And from what you saw from Memphis inside of the camp, is he gelling in well with his new teammates as well?
Absolutely, and he's really focused and really happy to be at Barcelona. Remember that Memphis got plenty of offers from all and big European clubs, and we actually are preparing something special with Memphis in this preseason. So of course, everyone stay tuned on Barça TV Plus, because interesting contents are coming up. I cannot say anything else, but it's going to be quite interesting to see Memphis.
Now you have to explain a little bit more.
We want a spoiler.
You can't just say that and not give us any kind of hint.
Go ahead, Bruno.
We spent a day with him, so we will see how he's one day, not just in the training camp, one day for Memphis in his playing now for Barça. And well, we hear again all the cheers from these spectators. Remember that last time that Barça faced Stuttgart was in the Champions League 2009-2010. Barcelona won in the round of 16 tie after a 1-1 draw here. So the last game that Barça played here, actually it was a 1-1 draw, but then in the second leg the Blaugranas beat Stuttgart 4-0, so they qualified for the quarterfinals of the Champions League.
Exactly, Bruno, and it's quite funny to see that on the Stuttgart website. I was checking the information, how many times that these two teams had actually faced each other. If I'm not mistaken, it was an exact number of 4 times in the past these two teams have faced each other. But quite funny enough, the Stuttgart website left out the second leg of the Champions League against Barça of their information. So the 1-1 is certainly fond in their memory, but maybe the second leg is not that much of a fond memory for them. As we see Frenkie turning away, finds Memphis up top. Here's Memphis. Will fall inside the box, but no penalty call.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I was just about to comment on how good his feet is for such a big physical guy. He's very, very quick feet, and I think the change of pace there just caught the Stuttgart defence off guard, and for me it looked very, very much like a penalty.
Well, the fans are certainly disagreeing with you, Emma, and so is referee Tobias Reichel, excuse me. Didn't see a penalty there, but yeah, that footwork, he started to dance with the defense very quickly there.
Yeah, you can just see here, he's looking up, he's looking for options, but then just that quick turn, it's really good footwork, and I think Stenzel, he didn't even move, it was too quick for him and just caught him. For me, a penalty.
Well, the 25-year-old center back from Stuttgart is also the team captain. It's his second season at Stuttgart. And, well, lucky perhaps to get away with that no penalty call. Here's Gabi to Frenkie. Piqué to Nico. Nico, of course, playing deep in that pivot role that we normally see Sergio Busquets playing in. He's named the natural successor of Sergio Busquets. But Emma, you mentioned just of how good of a physical specimen Nico is as well. He's very strong.
Yeah, I mean, he is the perfect replacement. He is very disciplined. He keeps his position. Very, very important for a team like Barcelona and the way they play. For me, one of the most important position is that holding midfield position. I think Busquets has done really, really well. Again, he's another player who has had to adjust to that position and has done very, very well. But I do believe that Nico is a player that will end up replacing Busquets, and he's young. I've mentioned that before, and you know, he needs experience. He needs these games to show exactly what he can do.
Here's Stuttgart now enjoying
Remember that
some of the ball.
Busquets, Jordi Alba and Martin Braithwaite arrived and started Preseason this Monday, so that's why we are not seeing any of them yet in the starting team, because they started training 1 week ago, so probably we will enjoy of these three players in the second half.
Absolutely, but as you mentioned as well, Emma, Nico, of course, such a welcomed addition to that midfield. Sergio Busquets has had that position on lock for such a long time, but to see some of these players, and in the case of Nico Gonzalez, just 19 years of age, coming up and already playing with such maturity. We talked about Gavi as well, we talked about this man, Yusuf Demir, and in the case of Nico, well, he comes, of course, from a long line of fantastic football players, or football player, I should say, in his father, Fran, that key player and captain of that Super Deport team.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think to look at, you know, every cloud is a silver lining phrase from last season. A lot of people had written Barça off, and you know, rightly so, considering that they couldn't really bring players in. So Koeman was forced to use the La Masia players. But what it did do is, well, it proves that they are good enough to play, obviously, and it also gave the other players in the La Masia confidence that they too can play in this level, and they just need to show how good they are when they are called upon to prove that they can play at this level. And I think that confidence has just grown and grown within the club.
Philippe Clement there, taking down Yusuf Demir. So another foul for Barça in a good position. Again, Memphis and Yusuf stepping up to take it. A little bit too far out for a direct kick, Emma?
Well, I think so, but if Memphis Depay is on the ball, anything is possible. I think this guy is going to want to take corner kicks, free kicks, penalties, goal kicks, everything.
Wayne comes across, or is it? I'm gonna call that a cross, Emma.
It's a cross. It's a cross, and you know what? It's a really good cross. He's put it into a really dangerous area, and you can see that already. He's trying to look for his Dutch companion there. De Jong is running in, and it's into a really dangerous area, because you can see that the goalkeeper Bredlow couldn't come for it, and the defense, it was in behind the defense. It's a really difficult ball to deal with.
We see Antoine Griezmann there chasing down the ball. Of course, Griezmann, one of those players that is an absolute workhorse, tirelessly working for the team, trying to regain possession back quickly. One of the points that Ronald Koeman, of course, stresses time and time again, the importance of how this team reacts when they lose possession.
Yeah, it's something that it would go unnoticed, and specifically more with Barça, because you're always looking at the players who create and the players on the ball, and that's very normal. But what Griezmann brings is something extremely important to the team, and it is creating space for those players who like to get on the ball, like Messi.
Well, here's Förster, puts in a cross. Cross neatly taken care of by Neto. As Bruno, we saw Frenkie de Jong there hit the floor. Was that a collision? Did he slip?
Well, there didn't seem to be many people around him, right, Bruno?
We'll connect with Bruno a little bit later, Emma.
Yeah, I think he's
still overcome with emotion.
Well,
still taking it all in.
There didn't seem to be any people around him. I think it might have been just a slip from De Jong, and just had a little look at his boots there.
As Frankie de Jong here was looking out for his compatriot Memphis, in particular in that game, well, the only game he's played so far for Barça against Girona. It was very telling how time and time again he would make those runs for his team, whether the ball would come to him or not. He seems like a player determined to continue to make those runs and, of course, hope to get the ball fed to him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would recognize also, you know, the work rate that a team needs. At Lyon, his work rate was phenomenal, and even if you don't get the ball, making those runs will create a different picture for your team, and he recognizes that. And you know, creating that run, if he was making a run on the right-hand side, it's going to stretch the game a little bit, and I spoke a lot about it last season, about stretching the game, which I didn't think we did enough of.
Sergi Roberto back playing in the defensive line. A 29-year-old, so such a talented player, so useful for head coach Ronald Koeman. Player you can put in different positions. As Gavi's on the ball, loses possession, but the ball go out for a Barça throw-in.
It's a little bit compact in there. There isn't much space for the Barca midfield, Gonzalez, De Jong and Gavi to play. And, you know, you can just see how compact it is. They're playing the game within 1/3 of the pitch. And I'd like to see a few more runs in behind to try and get the Stuttgart defence to drop off a little bit, which will create that space in front of them.
So Yusuf is trying to look for Gavi. Gavi making a run forward as well, but that ball going out for a goal kick.
No, that's exactly what I mean. You can see that there's lots of space out here on the left-hand side. We haven't seen Dest push on as much as he probably would do on the right. Maybe he's not as confident on the left-hand side. But as soon as whether it's Memphis or Griezmann, as soon as they go infield, you need your fullback to push on and create that width.
Yusuf connecting with Frankie. Is that something we talked about? Emerson Royal, of course, the Brazil who arrived at Barça today, who'll be presented on Barça TV Plus 5:30 Central European time on Monday. But is that something that you expect to see a lot from Emerson?
Absolutely, and you know that's why he's here. He makes amazing, really clever overlapping runs.
Well, watch out here, Emma, because Stuttgart was about to catch Barça's backline off guard.
Yeah, they're just looking for that. That's exactly what they're looking for, the counter-attack, and to try and catch Barça higher up the pitch, which we've seen Barça make so many mistakes on. And it's not a bad ball, actually, but luckily Neto is in a really good position and higher up the pitch, playing the sweeping across.
A couple of good interceptions of Neto. That remember that with Ter Stegen out until October, the Brazilian goalkeeper, in theory, will be the one playing until Ter Stegen is back in form.
Neto, of course, there, and as well as the cases of Arnau Tenas and Iñaki Peña as well. The two goalkeepers have joined the first squad out in this preseason friendly. But here's Memphis with a beautiful lob to himself, and it's the first goal for Football Club Barcelona, and what a goal it is! What a great bit of individual talent there shown by Memphis, as at the 20-minute deadlock, Barça has put in the first goal. It is a Barça 1 and Stuttgart 0 as it stuns the home crowd, because what a brilliant bit of individual play there.
I think it stunned everybody. Everybody seems to be a little bit shocked. What a goal, what a fantastic goal, what a ball in by De Jong. And again, we spoke about these two connecting on the pitch. Fantastic first touch by Depay. Great little lobby around the Stuttgart defender there, Stenzel. And then just fantastic composure just to put it in the back of the net. Absolutely brilliant goal, and that won't do his confidence any harm at all.
What a brilliant find as well by Frenkie de Jong, finally prizing the Dutchman for that run. He was looking for those passes. Emma, we talked about it already. We saw him make these kind of runs. Hadn't gotten the ball fed to him just right yet, but what an absolute brilliant bit of individual play to finish that off and stun the Stuttgart defender as well with that auto pass, as they call it in Spanish, that self-lob, and then finishing it off with in absolute class.
Yeah, really nice goal by him, and I think that kind of just describes him in a nutshell, really. He's making those fantastic strong runs, and then just to provide that little bit of skill at the end, just to put the icing on the cake. But yeah, I think that's going to be a very, very interesting combination with the Dutch guys in there, with De Jong and Memphis. I think that's going to be a really good connection there.
So 22 minutes gone, Barça leading 1-0 over here in Germany. And Bruno, what was the reaction of head coach Ronald Koeman?
Well, of course, really happy to see Memphis scoring the goal, and it's I think interesting to see tactically how he's playing now in the right. Griezmann was in the number 9 position. They are switching between the 3 players up front, but in this case, in the goal, Memphis was coming from the right, and the technical movement from the Dutch player, it has been absolutely amazing, an incredible goal. He scored against Girona. He's scoring today. Absolutely on fire, Memphis Depay.
Absolutely, 2 appearances and 2 goals. As Bruno, you talk about the rotation between these 3 players. We're now seeing Memphis on the left and Yusuf in the middle. So Emma, again, these guys have a free pass when it comes to rotating up top.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot last season as well with Dembele and Messi and Griezmann. It definitely it does work because it's very, very difficult to defend against, and we've seen how teams man-mark the Barça forwards. But there will come a time where you need to have a little bit of structure up there. For example, Demir, when he plays outright, he's extremely, extremely dangerous cutting in on his left. And when he does play centrally, that takes away from his game a little bit. But it's all about creating space and creating opportunities for your teammates as well. And that's something that the rotation does.
It's Yusuf now, playing it back to Sergio Roberto. To Yusuf, who goes down, and referee will call a foul. Now Yusuf, Emma, at the pre-game show we talked, of course, in depth about Yusuf Demir, and you went ahead and made that comparison between him and Leo Messi. Many culés or many fans are reserve their opinion or kind of don't want to put that type of pressure on such a young player, but from what we've seen from him so far, he looks like a player who would welcome those kind of comparisons. He's not shy.
No, he's not shy, and he's been compared to Messi for a very long time now. And I think it's just something, it is a compliment, but as you said, it is a lot of pressure on him. And personally, I would not like to be compared to such a fantastic footballer, but he's definitely got traits of Messi. He's left-footed, he's very, very quick, he's extremely good at taking players on, he's very direct, and also he's very, very young. He has a lot of time to improve on all of these skills, but it's very interesting to see how he's fitting into this team, and it's probably going to give Koeman a bit of a headache, to be quite honest, because the 3 games he's played so far, he's definitely proved that he should be playing, he can be playing, and it's something that Koeman might need to consider.
He has impressed indeed, and we saw it earlier there, taking Marc-Oliver Kempf to town and trying to combine with Antoine Griezmann there. Unfortunately, that ball got intercepted. As Memphis here wants a foul call, but Tobias Reichel
it's the second time that Memphis Depay remember about the possible penalty that the ref hasn't whistled. Now it's the second action. The fans are quite nervous, and Memphis is a bit frustrated because he thinks that in the previous action, the possible penalty, and now this one, that the ref hasn't whistled anything, well, he's not happy at all, and now he's having a word with the referee.
Yeah, we're seeing it here, Bruno. Memphis exchanging words with referee Tobias Reichel. As again, Emma, is that a foul for you?
It's definitely a foul. I mean, you can see that Carathor has left his foot there. It's a foul in any game, whether it's a friendly or a competitive fixture. it's a foul, and I can see why Memphis Depay would be a little bit frustrated there. But again, it's a good test for him, because there's going to be he's going to be in this position a lot in Spain in the league, and he needs to be able to deal with it.
So we're seeing a rare but good combination here for Stuttgart. Roberto Massimo there feeding the ball to Polster, as Piqué played it safe, and it'll be a throw-in for Stuttgart. But Stuttgart can't enjoy possession for too much longer, as Barça already back in control of the ball. Here's Nico, playing very far back indeed. The 19-year-old defensive midfielder playing 24 games last season for the B-side, heavily used by García Pimenta, playing a total of 1,787 minutes, as he's been absolutely on fire in this preseason friendly for Barça so far.
Really good closing down by Barça here. You can see they're completely switched on when they lose the ball, which is really good to see. As soon as they give the ball away, you have numbers, and you can see Piqué there very, very aggressively winning that ball, which is also very good to see.
Taking down the youngster Manuel Poster, one of the younger players also out on the pitch tonight, Emma, just 18 years of age. A player just like Yusuf Demir, coming from Austria. In fact, also born in Vienna. So lots of talent coming from Austria.
And another Austrian player, Sasa Kaladasi, is the top player actually of this team. It's not playing due to COVID-19, positive case for him, unfortunately. Also, other important players for Stuttgart, like Müller, the goalkeeper, or Ito, the captain, that are in the Olympics. Ito that will face Spain in the semi-finals of the Olympics, defending Japan's colors. So also lots of youngsters for Stuttgart, some B players, but they are fighting and trying to compete, of course, against Barça.
Yes, indeed. Also, the case of Stuttgart, the team heavily conditioned by their absences. In fact, this game was close to being cancelled because of the COVID cases. However, luckily, the authorities deemed it safe to go ahead, as we're hearing the fans whistle Memphis every time he touches the ball.
Absolutely. Now every single time that Memphis touches the ball, the fans are cheering. They are not happy with them. I don't know if for the two controversial actions, or a little bit more for the astonishing goal that Memphis has scored against Stuttgart.
Well, Bruno, Memphis here was trying to find Griezmann, close to get the ball to him, but it might also be, and I'm speaking as a fellow Dutchman here, the bit of rivalry that exists between Holland and Germany. Don't underestimate that. It is fierce, to say the least.
You will know it better than me, Diego, of course, because you are Dutch. I wasn't knowing this rivalry, but yeah, there is always rivalry between neighbors in Europe.
Absolutely, absolutely, Bruno. As Griezmann will try for a shot. The shot got deflected by Carazor. Emma, what has impressed you so far, or some of the highlights with regards to Stuttgart? They haven't enjoyed possession much yet, but defensively, well, they have been managing to block some of Barca's chances.
Yeah, I think particularly in midfield, up until now, it seems to be opening up a little bit. But I think they've done really well in midfield to keep it compact and to put pressure on the Barca midfield. It's not easy to mark someone like De Jong, who floats through midfield, who makes really good delayed runs, but they've done well to contain that. And in fact, up until before De Jong played that pass into Memphis Depay, they've done really well to contain the midfield, and it just seems to be opening up a little bit now. Whether that's down to the inexperience or maybe some lethargic legs, it shouldn't be because they're going into their season, but or maybe it's just through focus. They just need to get the ball and keep the ball, and you can see the players out here wider. They need to get it to them a little bit quicker.
Well, let's see what Stuttgart can do with this possession. Sergio Roberto's excellent closing down there, as the ball ends up back with Roberto.
It's very good play from Roberto, who's another player who has impressed in pre-season, to be quite honest. It's not always about the young players that have impressed. I think Sergio Roberto has done really well. And, you know, it's something I imagine that's on his mind. There's been some talks about him leaving the club, or Koeman maybe trying to offload him, but I think he's done a really good job, and as you've mentioned before, Diego, very versatile player that has come in and played in many different positions for Barça.
Well, the whistle's all back, Emma, which means that Memphis is most likely on the ball, but he was unable to connect with Griezmann. So you see Memphis chasing the ball down there.
I'm sure Memphis enjoys that kind of rivalry, the boos, and
he does.
Something to motivate him even more.
He does seem like a player that would welcome that sort of pressure, or that sort of treatment, let's say, from opposing fans.
Remember that he started his career in PSV in Netherlands, but then he moved to Manchester United, then Olympique Lyonnais, so he has played for big teams, and also he's one of the stars of the Netherlands national team, so of course this pressure, he's used to it, and I don't think it's a problem for him.
No, I don't think it's a problem for him. And big clubs, I mean, you're always going to get it, but particularly if you're that type of player, when you're a little bit aggressive, and right at the start of the game you should have had a penalty, and the fans think that you've dived. I mean, that's pretty much it for Memphis here.
Well, as we saw Gavi there try a beautiful little back heel nutmeg on Carazor, but the experienced centre-back put that out for a corner kick. Barça's first corner kick. Here's Memphis. It's in a cross. It's cleared by Bredlo. As Barça will build up the attack again from the back. Serginho Dest. Memphis finds Gavi. Here's Yusuf now on the left, combining with Dest. Yusuf looking for help from Piqué. Well, Emma, this is a little bit of an unusual situation for Stuttgart so far in this preseason, because it's their 6th friendly in this preseason, and the first time that they're losing, actually. They've had some excellent results so far in this preseason, including a 1-1 against Liverpool. And, well, the most attention-grabbing result so far was the 10-1 against St. Gallen.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what pre-season is all about. You want to play, I mean, Liverpool was a fantastic result for them, and then you want to play teams that are going to build the confidence that you can score goals. And you know, I think that you can see how they've done well. They're quite good defensively. They're quite compact. They've changed their team a lot since they played Liverpool, and since they played Gallen and Hollenbach. So I imagine this is a very youthful team, and a trial period, so far to speak, for the players. But in general, I think they've done pretty well.
Watch out, Emma, because it's another goal for Barça after Memphis Depay gave a beautiful little back heel assist, or pass rather, to Griezmann, and Griezmann finding Yusuf Demir, the young Austrian, getting his first goal for the Barça first team, as Barça is now leading by 2-0 over here in Stuttgart in the 35th minute. Barça 2, Stuttgart 0.
Really well worked goal from Barça here. Lovely ball from Dest into Memphis Depay. Great connection between Depay and Griezmann. Griezmann made a really nice run, really clever pass, back heel from Depay, who's really shown he's enjoying himself out there. But what a great run there from Demir. Really experienced run just across the defender. Lovely finish. Really well worked goal.
Absolutely, and we're looking at, again, just how these players rotate, how they combine as well. Excellent awareness from the Dutchman to spot Griezmann coming in from behind him. Almost looked like he had eyes in the back of his head, and a great pass by Griezmann to find Yusuf for, well, I was going to say easy tap in, but he was quite heavily contested by the Stuttgart defenders.
Absolutely, and it just shows the basic goal from the three forwards, basically, and it shows their movement and how they connect together. You had Griezmann and Depay playing very, very close together, and actually Yusuf Demir came from quite a wide position, and it's all about the timing of the runs and the intelligent passes, and then of course having the confidence and the calmness to finish, which Yusuf Demir did very well. He executed it extremely well.
Well, Bruno, after this second goal, have the home fans quieted down a little bit?
A little bit, Diego, of course, because this second goal now, it puts things more complicated now for Stuttgart. What a day for Yusuf Demir, and once again for Ronald Koeman, who is one more preseason believing in these youngsters. So here comes Demir to show him that he wants a place in this team, and remember that he's a player from Barça B, but he's shining, he's having a great game, and once again Memphis has been a key player, giving a great pass to Antoine Griezmann before assisting Yusuf Demir. Some news in the sideline: Ronald Araujo first players to warm up.
Already potential substitutions maybe, or certainly Ronald Araujo just getting warmed up, maybe ready for that second half. Of course, Araujo had to miss part of last season due to injury, so Ronald Koeman and his technical staff making sure that
and now the fans whistling to Yusuf Demir now. Of course, he has been the second player to score him, so I think that also has something into account. If you score a goal, they are going to whistle you.
That's it. He's marked on their list as a player that will be whistled as Frenkie de Jong puts in a pass. Gerard Piqué will try for the header. It doesn't get there, but it's Antoine Griezmann with a shot that goes flying high over the crossbar.
I'm not sure why De Jong didn't have a shot there. He had so much space. Just watch his movement as he peels off there, completely unmarked. He could have had a shot. I could just it had volley written all over it, but of course, unselfishly, he popped it back into the danger area where Griezmann ballooned it over the bar.
Unselfishness from the Dutchman. As Yusuf here chasing down the ball again, the young Austrian wanting more. And Emma, again, we discussed the level of competitiveness for the players up top. When it comes to Yusuf Demir, I mean, Bruno mentioned it as well. He's a Barça B player. How much do you think that Ronald Koeman will actually use him for the first team?
I don't think he has a choice. I think he has to bring him with the first team. He's shown an unbelievable amount of skill, and he has basically everything in his locker. He's got the pace, he's got the power. You could see he wasn't shrugged off for his goal. The defender was big, burly defender, and he had no impact on Yusuf Demir. So he's the power, he has the knowledge, the work rate. As you can see, he's closing down fanatically, and he's very, very tenacious as well. He's proving that he can play at this level. I think it's a player that you can't ignore, and you have to have at least in the squad.
Something that really quite took me by surprise is not just seeing how aware he is and how he's being sought out by his teammates and how he makes himself also his presence felt on the pitch, but taking into account his age, taking into account that he comes from a different culture, doesn't speak the language, has never played in the Spanish league, of course, let alone being surrounded by such household names and absolute superstars. This player looks so comfortable in the position that he's in.
Yeah, he really does.
Remember that he's on loan from Rapid Wien, and of course the plan of Barça is to have him in the B team. But of course, if the preseason can change things, and that's why Koeman has bring him here to Germany. And Barça has an option, a buyout cost of 10 million euros after this first season, if they like him and they want to stay him here for more years.
It's actually very clever from Barça. It's a really good bit of business because, you know, 10 million is not, I know it sounds very expensive to you and I, but it's not that expensive in football terms. And he's already proving his worth here. And, you know, I think he's only going to get better. And as you said, Diego, it's always going to, the most difficult part is going to be the start and trying to acclimatise and adjust to living in a different country. But it looks like he's doing that perfectly well and enjoying himself, and only going to get better.
Well, we of course are looking forward to follow his development and progress. And for those of you watching us on Barça TV Plus, it's an absolute joy to see this start of this very exciting young Austrian player, Yusuf Demir. As it does
and
seem
remember
that
on Wednesday, the second friendly of FC Barcelona against Red Bull Salzburg, the second friendly in this training camp, and it will be a really special day for Yusuf Demir because he will play back in his country. It will be live, of course, here on Barça TV Plus.
Exactly. As the home fans wanted a foul there. Again, Tobias Reichel keeping his whistle in his pocket. As I was going to say, Emma, it does seem that that 2-0 might have taken the sting out of the match a little bit. Maybe Stuttgart is a little bit less aggressive on the press and sitting a little bit deeper.
Well, they've started very, very deep. I think the idea was to try and keep Barça out, try and be compact in defence, no holds, follow the players, and really outnumber them in midfield. And they were doing it well, as I said before, for the first 25 minutes. But you can see as Barça start to push on, as the full-backs Roberto and Dest start to push on a little bit, they're actually outnumbering on the wide areas, and you can see Stuttgart players getting a little bit frustrated now because they are outnumbered in the wider areas.
Number 31 there, Mateo Klimovic, taking down Yusuf. Klimovic, the 21-year-old, born in Buenos Aires. He's the son of Diego Klimovic, a retired football player who certainly made his mark in German football, who now gets to see his son play for Stuttgart. Here's Gavi. Longley. We'll try to play it long, looking for Memphis. Memphis with a lovely little touch pass to Yusuf.
It's a shame that didn't work out. You could see exactly what Memphis was trying to do. It's just it wasn't very well executed. He wanted to play in Demir, who was very, very close to him and making a really good run. And if he could have just passed that off, a little bit of a stronger knockdown for Yusuf would have been perfect.
Here's Serginho Dest being closed down by two Stuttgart players. He's unable to hold on to the ball.
I think you could see Dest there getting a little bit frustrated. He wanted somebody to come a little bit closer to him. He seemed to be on his own, and he was against two defenders, and there weren't any Barca players coming towards him.
Frankie now. He's looking for help. We'll get the help from Gavi. Gavi back to Frankie. De Jong now also playing a little bit deeper. Here's Nico. Longley. Nico sees Yusuf, decides to play it to Longley. Just about a minute or so remaining in this first half as Stuttgart is now on the break. It's 3-2 for Stuttgart. Well, the pass went in, but it was almost a shot there by Massimo, but well intercepted.
Gavi did really, really well there to get back and defend. He just did just about enough to put the Stuttgart player off, just get a toe in it. But he did really well to track back.
Indeed, as referee Tobias Reich will call the end of the first half. The goal scorers for Barça is the man you see on the screen right there, Memphis Depay and Yusuf Demir. It's 2-0 for Barça over here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. And do stay with us for the second half because this friendly looks promising and certainly guaranteed with more goals. Don't go anywhere. The second half will kick off shortly.
que estic de ser jugador del Barça. Som el millor club del món, diguin el que diguin. Som molt feliç, moltes gràcies.
Més que jo.
More than me.
More than me.
Más que yo.
Més que jo.
More than me.
Hola, soy Pedri y este es mi top 4. Yo creo que empezando por la portería escogería a Víctor Valdés, que fue un portero que vi muchos años en el Barça y me encantaba. Luego en la defensa yo creo que escogería a Carles Puyol por su liderazgo y por lo que se dejaba en el campo, que era todo. Después en el medio del campo elegiría a Andrés Iniesta, que siempre ha sido mi jugador favorito. Y arriba yo creo que de delantero escogería a Ronaldinho por la magia que tenía dentro del campo.
Facing Messi, there really is no competition there. The ball's played through. Andres Iniesta just a Barcelona are 1-0. Punta para Iniesta. Gol, 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 gol. Andrés Iniesta acaba de marcar un gol extraordinari, una volea sensacional. Andrés Iniesta, quina pipa des de fora l'àrea. Esta desde fuera del área. Obús, minuto 42, qué gran obús. El balón por la escuadra derecha de la portería de Moragón. ¡Ah, golazo! ¡Gol, gol, 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 gol! ¡Gran gol de Andrés Iniesta! ¡Gran gol de Andrés Iniesta! ¡Del Quijote! ¡Genio! ¡Brutal! zapatazo, golazo, desde fuera del área, del mágico de Fuentealbina. Iniesta, oh, what a goal, what a goal, what a goal, what a goal, what a goal from Iniesta. La pilota la jugada per Terry, arriba peus de Messi, Messi és l'àrea, continua Messi, deixa la frontal, vinga, surt Iniesta! Iniesta Roma, Roma Iniesta, Iniesta Roma. Iniesta Roma, gol, 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 gol.
incorporación de Jong, quiere hacer
De Jong que fa la centrada, Griezmann, gol, 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 Jordi Alba fa la centrada.
¡Qué bona! Jordi Alba la pone.
Messi en De Jong que está haciendo velocidad, último De Jong.
De Jong de nuevo Messi, enorme Messi, extraordinario Messi.
Al Barça que pot marcar el tercer.
Messi, Messi.
Messi, gol, 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 gol. Atenció aquí que Leo la polia, Leo! Oh! Què ha fet Leo?
Welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Arena and welcome back to Stuttgart where Barça are beating VfB Stuttgart by 2-0. I am joined by ex-Arsenal and Ireland goalkeeping legend Emma Byrne. Emma, what are some of your key takeaways from that first half?
Well, I definitely think that Barca were the dominant team. Stuttgart were dropping very, very deep. They were defending deep, trying to just create a block across, particularly in the middle, trying to stop the Barca midfield from playing. But as the scoreline tells, they couldn't do that, and I think Memphis is really looking like he's enjoying himself out there. He looks very, very comfortable and confident. He's enjoying that role up there. I think Griezmann is a very, very good supportive player for him. He's making a lot of runs, creating a lot of space, not getting on the ball as much as we'd like him to do, but also you've got Yusuf Demir in that trio up front who's had a fantastic game and very, very dangerous, particularly more so when he plays on the right-hand side. And I think it's impossible for Stuttgart to stop these three players, the way they interchange and the way they create the space. For me, I'd like Barca to move the ball just a little bit quicker, because as soon as you slow it down, it allows Stuttgart to get behind the ball and organised.
We saw the two goal scorers on our screens right there. Memphis Depay, Yusuf Demir, two goal scorers for Football Club Barcelona. Let's connect with our pitchside reporter Bruno Ballester. Bruno, any substitutions that we can expect for the second half? Well, we'll connect with Bruno a little bit later as the ball is already rolling here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. And it is Stuttgart taking out the ball. The fans were very active indeed in that first half, trying to make Barça feel the pressure, feel the heat of having the fans back in the stadium. But so far, the Barça players not fazed whatsoever by this cold welcome of the German fans. Certainly good, of course, to see so many fans back in the stadium. It is a maximum capacity of what the authorities allowed, 25,000 fans in the stadium. And we'll have Bruno confirm that stat with us once his connection is back. It is Stuttgart now enjoying some of the ball.
And it's good play there from Polster. He's dropped in a little bit. He's done well to keep the ball. It's difficult to find his teammates, but he did well to shake off Roberto and to find one of his teammates to keep possession, but again given away very carelessly, and they'll soon feel their legs if they keep giving away possession and have to chase the ball down for the next 45 minutes.
Well, it will be a long match for the German side for sure if they keep this up. The possession stat for the first half was 69% in favor for Barça, and well, from what I can remember, Emma, not a whole lot of shots on goal from the home side when it comes to, or even danger created for that matter, on Neto's goal.
No, absolutely not. They got a cross in early on in the match who wasn't very dangerous, and then towards the end there we seen Gavi doing really well to track back and to put Klimovic off. That could have been quite dangerous, but very good defensive play from Gavi.
Griezmann finds Yusuf. No offside, so Yusuf will get a chance to put in a cross. It's back to Griezmann. There's Yusuf Demir with Gavi. Gavi, beautiful little through pass to Sergio Roberto.
You could see exactly what he was trying to do, just find that space. Roberto had made a really good run, but the ball wasn't good enough.
As several players are down now. As referee Tobias Reichel halts play. But let's connect with our pitchside reporter Bruno. Bruno, any substitutions coming up in the second half?
Well, they are still warming up. Ronald Araujo, as he was doing these exercises in the first half, and now also Sergio Busquets making exercises. Ricky Puig is the other player warming up. So let's see if in the following minutes we see some news. Well, now Ronald Araujo will come on because Clément Lenglet, it seems that he won't be able to continue. So bad news for the Frenchman. Hopefully, let's see if it's nothing serious. But Ronald Araujo is ready, and the Uruguayan centre-back will come on.
Ronald Koeman not willing to take any risks and force his defender more than needed. As the Culés will certainly be happy to see Ronald Araujo take to the field. He was one of the players who arrived also a little bit later to the training camp, seeing as he reached the latter stages of the Copa America with his Uruguay side. And such a fundamental piece when he was healthy, of course, for Ronald Koeman last season.
Absolutely, such an impressive player, one of the standout players for me. It's a shame he got injured when he did, but it's for such a young age and so good positionally. And I've spoken about his pace before, it worried me a little bit at the start, but because he's so good positionally, he gets away with it, and you know he anticipates the ball, so he gets away with that, not having as quick a pace as the other defenders. But very, very good, very impressive last season.
On comes the 22-year-old, hailing from Boston River, before arriving to Barça B.
First minutes for Ronald Araujo in this pre-season right now, so interesting, of course, to see the Uruguayan. Jordi Alba also warming up from the sideline, so Busquets, Jordi Alba, and Ricky Puig are the three players now that are warming up.
More substitutions than as expected. Great press there by Nico to recuperate possession. Sends off Yusuf for a run. Demir will pass it inside to Griezmann. One-touch pass, trying to find Memphis.
That could have been very, very dangerous, and it's the perfect time to do one-touch pass. He knew exactly what he wanted to do with it. Seems Griezmann and Memphis are working really, really well together. It was actually really well defended by the centre-half Stenzel.
The Dutchman left with no other option than to play that ball back to his defenders, as Stuttgart now has managed to get hold of the ball, but the play is stopped by referee Reichel. It will be Stuttgart ball. So a foul was called there on Frenkie de Jong.
Stuttgart do very, very well at getting their midfielders back in defence. You can see there the numbers they get back. It's really difficult for Barca to play to a front player and then to play off them, because Clement and Bale get back very, very well to cover that space in front of their back three.
Lovely little ball over the defense there for Stuttgart as the cross comes in, and it's a dangerous one. The play is still going, as it was, I believe it was Manuel Polster there with a shot on goal, but luckily that got deflected by the Barça defense.
It just seemed to stop. Everything just seemed to stop for a moment.
Here's Polster again. We'll try to look for a center forward. He goes down, but again, Tobias Reichel is keeping his whistle in his pocket, as is Massimo. It is the 20-year-old.
Great turn.
It's a great turn indeed, and 20-year-old looking for a penalty, Emma, but no penalty call.
I don't think the referee wants to give any penalties in this game. I mean, it wasn't as obvious as Memphis Depay's in the first half, I have to be honest, and it looked like just a very, very good turn, but this is where Barca becomes a little bit worrying. I mean, they just don't seem to be closing down quick enough. They're diving in, they're not standing up. It's something that they really need to work on, because it was a big problem last season, and it's something that they need to focus on.
Well, the little danger that has been created by Stuttgart so far has certainly come from the protagonists here for the Germans. Roberto Massimo, the 20-year-old right midfielder, plays also very comfortably on the right wing. In fact, last season in the under-17s Bundesliga, played 27 games, scoring a total of 18 goals and providing 3 assists. So the Barça defense is warned. Here's Dest now. Griezmann will send it back. And Barça will build up from the back once again. Araujo getting his first touches of the game with Sergi Roberto. Here's Yusuf. What can he do? The crowd are on their feet. Yusuf has got time now to put in a cross. Finds Memphis. Memphis goes down. Yusuf goes down, but again, no foul call by referee Reichel.
See, Demir, his feet are just so quick. It's so difficult to defend against, and you can see Kempf there for Stuttgart. And I'm sure he's thinking he's having an absolute nightmare because he's just way too quick. Demir's just way too quick for him. You can see here he's trying to keep up, but just look how quickly Demir is and good at keeping possession.
A good no foul call there for you,
moment,
Emma?
Diego, Emma, Ray Manais goes to warm up. I think that in one way, of course, Yusuf and Memphis are having a great game, but on the other hand, Koeman knows the risk, and the fans and the players, all of them are against them. So now Ray Manais, the Albanian striker who has scored 4 goals in the preseason, now warming up. So we are expecting probably some changes up front in the following minutes.
Ray Manais, of course, one of the stars of this preseason so far. Couldn't have gotten his preseason off to a better start, scoring those 4 goals in 2 games. As he's one of those players that are knocking on the doors rather of the first team.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know it's going to be very, very difficult for these young players to break through, considering now when you've got the likes of Agüero and Memphis Depay, you've got Griezmann, you've got Demir now who's showing his worth. I mean, it's really difficult for anybody to try and break into this team. But again, as you've just mentioned, you know, this guy Manage has done extremely well in his preseason games. Very, very strong, knows exactly where the goal is, can find the back of the net. And I know that this is what preseason is all about, but I feel they need double the time to find out exactly who is to be brought into the squad.
Ronald Koeman certainly has his homework cut out for him, as is Stuttgart here on the attack. Emma, if you're the Stuttgart head coach, Pellegrino Matarazzo, the Italian-American right now, what are you happy with what you're seeing from your team, or would you be looking for a quicker movement, rotation of the ball perhaps?
Well, I'd be happier at the start of this half than I was at the end of the first half, because the end of the first half was basically non-existent for them. But you can see that they're trying to bring players in. You can see Poster has pulled a little bit more to the left. They are going to try and get at Roberto, which seems to be working. You can also see that Clement there in midfield is pushing on a little bit. That was fairly obvious. The midfield needed to push on. So I think that Pellegrino Matarazzo has asked his players to push on, stop dropping so deep, and I think it's made a bit of a difference. I mean, here alone you can see the formation has changed a little bit. They are pushing on a little bit, and they're enjoying more of the ball. And you know, it is a friendly. You do want to see a competitive game and take the game to the opposition.
Well, here's Kempf now, trying to push the ball forward, but Nico with the interception. Yusuf finds Memphis, who heads it back to Serginho Dest. Dest back to Neto. Played long for Memphis. Memphis can't get to it. It'll go out for a touch, and it's a Barça throw-in.
And Matarazzo doesn't have so many options like Ronald Koeman, because they were just 5 players in the bench. He has made 1 substitution at halftime. Luca Bazzoli, the striker, replacing Dominic Notangel. So just 4 players left. 1 is the goalkeeper. So difficulties for him. In the other hand, Ronald Koeman has many more players in the bench. And remember that this is the last friendly before the first official game for Stuttgart. They will face Dynamo in the German Cup next week.
Exactly, Bruno, as we're hearing some applause from the home crowd. Any idea of what that is for?
Yes, of course, they are supporting their team. They are trying to put things difficult against Barça, but it's not going to be easy for them with this result and with the situation of their squad list right now.
The home crowd happy to see their Stuttgart with some possession here, as now it's once again Barça on the ball. And something that, of course, characterizes these German stadiums are these passionate and dedicated fans. Just 25,000 fans in a stadium, if I'm not mistaken, but they're making themselves heard.
Yeah, you can really hear them, right? But it's just as Barça are turning the screw a little bit, it feels like this is when the fans try to support their team a little bit more, because we can see here Barça enjoying possession here. They're actually playing very well. You can see that they're trying to bring Memphis in. He's dropping a little bit deeper and then pushing it out wide to the fullbacks.
Sergio Roberto there whips in across, but Fabian Bredlo quick to react, and it's Stuttgart with the ball again.
Yeah, they don't seem to be in much of a rush to get forward, to get players forward.
Yeah.
Players are isolated up there, but they definitely are trying to bring in Polster into the game a little bit, and he seems to be the most dangerous player for Stuttgart, but again, he can't do it on his own. He needs support.
Polster, one of those players that is being sought out time and time again, but he does seem very lonely out here on the left. As Barça will...
Well, now Ronald Koeman calling Riqui Puig, Sergio Busquets, Jordi Alba, these two players that will now come on. I think that Ronald Koeman is going to make it kind of between the two games today and Salzburg, share minutes, but I don't think it can be not surprising if we see a player today playing the 90 minutes, because the season is arriving to the start, and I also expect Koeman wanting some players to have a whole game and then use the other ones for Salzburg, because the game will be in just 4 days.
Exactly, Bruno. The league season kicking off very shortly indeed. The 15th of August is when Barça will face Real Sociedad over in the Camp Nou for their league opener. Tough ask, as good shot here on goal that just went a little bit wide off of the left post. But as I just finished my thought here, tough ask always to play against the team from San Sebastián. And the more minutes that these players can get under the belt and get closer to match fitness, the better, of course. As again, Emma, we saw a rare shot on goal here by the home side.
Yeah, I mean, it is a sign of progress. Again, it's come out to the left-hand side here, but it's good to see the likes of Klimovic get up there, put a little bit of pressure on, get a little bit higher. And there was time for him to take a shot. There was no pressure on him, so it was a good decision. It wasn't complete, so wide. So, I mean, he just needs maybe a little bit more composure and get it on target.
Well, the young going out, as mentioned by our pitchside reporter, Gavi as well. So it's Busquets, Riqui Puig and Jordi Alba that have taken the field.
Yes, and now more players warming up for Barça. Bosnian midfielder Miralem Pjanic and the two youngsters Nils Mortimer and Alejandro Valde, and also Remanay.
Lots of substitutions then in the second half for Ronald Koeman.
A little bit disheartening for Stuttgart, I imagine, when they're trying their best and they're finding it difficult to contain the Barça team, and then you have the likes of Busquets and Riqui Puig coming on, and it's something that you don't want to see in the second half when you're very, very tired from the first half chasing the ball.
How do these players approach these kind of matches? I mean, playing against do they see it as an opportunity where they're playing against their idols, where they maybe play with a bit of a chip on their shoulder to perhaps also impress first-team head coach Ronald Koeman?
Absolutely. I mean, they're going to be up for the game. I mean, they're not a bad team. They're in the Bundesliga. They came 9th in the league. It's not bad. They haven't qualified for any major tournaments, but they're still the highest level in the German league. So they're going to want it. They have to, show that they're good enough to play and compete against a team like Barça. But also Barça carries a massive name, and for me as a player, I used to love playing against teams that were considered a lot better than us, and it's something that you have to be competitive and show that you're good enough.
Well, watch out, Emma. Barça here trying to inch their way forward again to the German goal, and a good combination by Griezmann and Memphis once again, as Serginho Dest was unable to hold on to that ball.
Yeah, it's been...
And of course, for all these youngsters, it's the first time for them to play in front of 25,000 people. That's also, I think, something to take into account, because it's the first time that they face such a big crowd.
Absolutely, yeah, that's another thing that they're going to take home with them and enjoy. It's a fantastic experience for them, but no doubt, very, very soon, these guys will be playing in front of 70,000, 80,000 people. They're so impressive, the Barça youth.
Well, 64 minutes gone here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena. It's still Barça 2 and Stuttgart 0. So here's Stuttgart out on the attack now. Again, Polster driving forward, but very, very lonely indeed. Not getting much help from his teammates, as it's again the left winger who tries to make things happen on the left side.
Actually, Dest and Roberto have done a really good job on Polster. You can see Stuttgart trying to bring him into the game. He's obviously their biggest threat. Dest has done really well getting behind the ball, standing up and winning the ball from him.
Polster now helping out his teammates in the back, as Stuttgart will try to build an attack from the back. Araujo with Dest, who played back to Neto. Neto with a bit of a sloppy pass, trying to find Yusuf.
Yeah, he's annoyed with himself, Araujo. It's a tight pass, but still one that he should be able to execute better.
Well, Yusuf Demir and Memphis Depay, the two goal scorers for Football Club Barcelona so far in this third preseason friendly that you're enjoying here on Barça TV+. But still, lots more action coming up. In case of friendlies, Barça will head over to Austria to play Red Bull Salzburg in their fourth preseason friendly in this second stage of the preseason, before returning back home and playing the mighty Juventus, La Vecchia Señora, for the Joan Gamper Trophy, along with the women's team, of course. The women's game will kick off at 6 p.m. Central European Time. We will then have the presentations of both teams, the women's team and the men's team, before the men's team will kick off at 9:30 in the evening in the Camp Nou. So a big match to look forward to on August 8th. And don't forget, of course, to set your calendar reminder as well for this Monday, when we will have the live presentation of newly arrived Emerson Royal. It'll be at 5:30 p.m. Central European Time over in the Camp Nou.
Probably the team in this preseason has had matches from the lowest difficulty to the highest. Remember, they started against Nastic, a second division B team. Then they played against Girona, a second division team. Today they are playing against Stuttgart. They will play against Salzburg, that is a Champions League team. And what to say about Juventus, a Champions League winner. So, good calendar, I think, with preparation for this squad.
Absolutely, and of course, So much history between these two sides as well. We'll see if Milan Pjanic will get a chance to face his old team. As it's Yusuf here on the ball. Whipping across, finds Memphis, but a little bit too high for the Dutchman.
Oh, it was a great idea, wasn't it? Memphis made a really nice run there. He always seems to find himself free. It was actually a great ball by, again, Yusuf Demir. And it was just a really nicely timed run from Memphis Depay. Just couldn't get on the end of it.
Busquets now tries to intercept the ball. He does. It's Griezmann. To Jordi Alba. Alba wants to drive forward, but his pass doesn't connect. There's a poster here with an uncharacteristically bad touch from what we've seen from him so far.
It's just slowed down slightly. Looks like both teams have just slowed it down a little bit. You think the substitutions would make that change this, turn the screw a little bit, but
well, it's good tracking back here by Antoine Griezmann to recuperate possession.
Great tracking back by Griezmann, and then a couple of minutes earlier he tracked all the way back into his own half and did the exact same thing. Again, it's what we were talking about earlier, his work rate. He is a workhorse, and sometimes it goes unnoticed, but it's absolutely fantastic work rate.
Emma, based on your experience, how long does it take for players to get to, say, full match fitness, in these type of pre-seasons and once the season gets started?
It takes a while, and it doesn't matter how much training you do in the off season, how much programs you follow. You can be as fit as a fiddle running wise, but then when it comes to training and matches, it's completely different, and it takes a good 5-6 games to get into the flow, and even then you might not feel at your sharpest until you're into the season already. You know, and I think it's been a really difficult season for these players. It's a long season, way too many games, if you ask me. I think the federation need to look at that, because the players are overused and they don't get enough time to recuperate. And then with the Euros, with the Olympics, I think it's been an absolute manic schedule, particularly more so for a player like Pedri. So, you know, in the off time, they shouldn't be doing anything. They should be completely switched off. So then it's going to take them a little bit longer to get their sharpness back when they do come back.
Well, Bruno, we saw more substitutions. Now Marco Wolf coming in for Mateo Klimovic. As Des whips in across, and Memphis there was close to getting to it. Ricky Puig still on the ball with a shot. But referee Tobias Reichel, I believe, did he call for offside? I'm a little confused on what the call was here. It's a good touch by. He's given a corner kick. Okay.
I think before the keeper even touched it, I think he had given the corner.
It was a great block by Fabian Bredlo. Here's Ricky Puig. Will try his luck again. This time, an easier save for the goalkeeper.
It's better from Barça. They're looking up, more shots on target, a bit more exciting from them. We want more goals, Diego.
We do, Emma. We really do. We want more goals. Now, you talked about the 5 games needed to sort of get to ideal match fitness. Are those 5 regular league games or pre-season games?
Pre-season games, okay. Always. But what comes with that as well, you don't always get the full games because the manager wants to give everybody minutes. So, you know, for me, it would take longer than that. It would take a good 7-8 games for players to really find their flow, and it's a difficult one to call because, as I said earlier, you have to give your players rest, and you also have to train, and you have to run, and you have to get the mileage in your legs. And if you have a game, you're not going to do that amount of fitness training. So it's really difficult, and it's something that managers have become very aware of, and who have bring in experts on periodization, which I think is very, very important in today's game.
Meanwhile, Piqué being put under pressure here, as well as Jordi Alba. As Bruno, we heard some of the Barça fans making their voices heard.
Absolutely, there is a group here from the Peña Blaugrana Stuttgart, and they are supporting a lot the team. Let's see this chance for Barça.
Here's Antoine Griezmann. Will feed the ball to Riqui Puig, and Riqui Puig all alone in front of goal, and it goes in! It's a beautiful goal from Barça on this counter-attack to stun the Stuttgart defense. It was a lovely pass through ball by Antoine Griezmann to find Riqui Puig, who managed to beat Brett Lowe with a lucky touch on the post, but 3-0 for Barça, and we have to say it was deserved.
Very, very well deserved. It's actually a really nice goal for once they're counter-attacking against another team. Great play. Roberto playing up there as a number 9. Really nice. Again, really unselfish play from Griezmann. I think it's an absolutely brilliant finish from Riqui Puig. You can see he knows he's in space. He knows he has time. He's very calm. No touches needed, and just puts it exactly where the goalkeeper cannot get to. Great finish, great composure.
Great skill shown by the midfielder indeed, and again, a lucky little touch by the post, but you always wanted that goal to go in because it was a lovely and quick counter-attack with, as you mentioned, Emma, Sergio Roberto also joining the top 3 there.
Yeah, I always really enjoy when Riqui Puig scores a goal. I just feel like he enjoys it so much and he's so happy. It's quite infectious.
We're all rooting for the La Masia starlet, of course, to triumph with the first team. Here he is right here. Riqui Puig will send Memphis running. Memphis again being greeted by the whistles and boos. I'm going to stick to my guns and say it's because he's a Dutchman. Trying to keep that Holland and Germany rivalry alive, Emma.
You're going to start a war. I think he's going to have this kind of effect wherever he goes. It's just the type of player he is. He's very physical. When you have a physical striker, you always get that banter from the opposition fans, and it's always interesting. It really makes it quite exciting. I quite enjoy it, and I, as I said earlier, I think he does as well. He enjoys the physical part of the game, and that comes with it.
3 more players in the sideline now ready to come in for Barça. Bosnian midfielder Miralem Pjanic, the striker Remanai, and Niels Mortimer. So we expect, I think, Yusuf Demir and probably Memphis to be replaced by these 2 players up front, or even Griezmann. But 2 players up front that will enter in this game.
Well, we'll see if Remanai can keep his goal-scoring streak going.
I think Sergio Roberto, he's changed position. He's gone into centrally. He's not playing a fullback anymore, and I think he looks very tired. He looks quite lethargic in there, and I think this is exactly what pre-season is for. But I'd be surprised if he stays on the pitch.
Still a lovely little bit of skill to create space for himself and send himself running before the ball got intercepted. As we saw on our screens there, the 3 players getting ready to check themselves into the game. And you said it as well, Emma. It certainly seems that the energy and the sting of this game has kind of been fading a little bit. But you wouldn't notice when you're listening to these fans. Still in full spirits.
That's the difference, isn't it? Yeah. That's the difference when the fans are there, because without the fans, it's very quiet. It's very difficult to motivate yourself as a player, you know, and the fans just bring that extra buzz to the game and to the people watching on television, and for us as well.
So it's still Manuel Polster here, number 46 on your screen, that is making his presence felt all over the pitch, helping out his team in defense as well, and on the left and the right, as we see there. The Barça players getting ready to enjoy some minutes here in Stuttgart. Still 3-0 for Barça.
And also 2 players
under
prepared.
15 minutes left.
Also 2 players prepared for Stuttgart. Probably also it will be the last substitutions that Pellegrino Matarazzo will make in this game.
I don't think he has any more substitutions, does he?
His
Bruno?
list seemed pretty short, that's true. A lot shorter than Ronald Koeman's list of players available, yeah.
Florian Schock, the substitute goalkeeper, is the only one that probably won't have the chance to play today.
Give him an outfield shirt. I used to love that.
There's Barça here on the attack. It's the one-touch pass, trying to find Sergi Roberto, but Emma does look a little bit tired there.
I think Sergio
lower his head.
I think that's the last we'll see of Sergio Roberto.
Well, in come Miralem Pjanic, Niels Mortimer, and Ray Manay. So we'll wait for graphic confirmation to see exactly which players they will be substituting. Well, there's one of them. Sergi Roberto out for a much-needed rest.
I think it's Memphis as well coming off. Right, Bruno?
Listening
yes,
to the
Memphis
whistles.
and Griezmann out, so this exactly. So this means that the three players that are coming on, as we said, are Pjanic, Manay, and Niels Mortimer. And the one that will remain up front, well, now they will change a bit positions, it seems, because no, Yusuf Demir, exactly. Yusuf Demir will end the game and will play the 90 minutes.
So Yusuf will play the 90 minutes. We also saw Griezmann coming off. So we can expect Ray Manay to be in that number 9 spot and hopefully be able to add to his goal tally. 24-year-old Albanian. What a start he had, but don't underestimate the youngster because he does have a lot of experience under his belt. Played for the likes of Albacete. That was in 2019 when he made his transfer over to Barça, but before he played for the likes of Inter de Milan and Granada as well. So he's got Serie A experience also under his belt.
And I can say that Yusuf Demir will end the match because warming up just Arnau Comas, the centre back, and Alejandro Valde, the left back. So if there's nothing serious, no injuries or nothing strange, he will finish the match.
Oh, watch out, Bruno, because here's Miralem Pjanic who finds Ray Manay, and it's going over. As I was about to sing his praises already for that early goal that he would have gone just being substituted in. It was his first touch of the game as well, and almost getting on the score sheet.
It was nearly like it came as a bit of a surprise for him. It's too early to get a chance, but to be fair, it was a great save by Bredlow. He did really, really well. He spread himself, made himself very, very big and quite difficult for Manaj.
Just whipping in across. The Barça players want more goals, and so do we, Emma. Here's Dest. The Stuttgart players trying to
now
put
the
Barça
screens
under the
of
press.
the scoreboard confirming the sold out of 25,000 spectators, and that's why now all the stadium was cheering now after this moment.
We welcome all of those 25,000 fans. It's so good to hear proper cheering and jeering coming from the stands again. We've missed it way too much. As Stuttgart will do their best here to get a goal in of their own to try to make their home fans happy, and here it is. Who is it? Nobody else than Polster, of course, but perhaps a bit surprised by the amount of space he had, because that was an awful shot, Emma.
Well, it was nearly identical to the first half chance they had. Again, on the right side, just a pullback. Nobody near Polster, completely on his own again. Too much time. His first chance in the first half was slightly better than that one, but I think, again, tiredness. I think they look lethargic, Stuttgart. If this is 1 week away from the start of their season, I'm not sure how they've prepared, but they do look a little bit leggy out there.
Yeah, here we see Manuel Polster going down with a cramp, and he'll need some medical attention as well. But yeah, this is their 6th preseason friendly, Emma, and you mentioned those 5 key games needed to get to match fitness, but certainly not a good sign for these players to start cramping up.
No, it's something you see at the end of a season, right? But it depends on how the manager has spread the minutes throughout the squad, and you can see the squad is completely depleted here. So perhaps he was planning on giving Polster fewer minutes. Maybe he wasn't planning on starting him, but considering the fact that two players dropped out at the beginning of the game, and players in the Olympics, as you mentioned, and injuries, perhaps the manager, Matarazzo, has had to play players he didn't want to play.
Well, Bruno, it seems that after that missed attempt by Manuel Polster, he is unable to continue. I don't know if the Stuttgart coach is already warming up a player to substitute him.
Well, they were having a word now with Florian Schock. As you said, well, now he's back. He's back, luckily for them, because there are no more options for manager Pellegrino Matarazzo except the goalkeeper. I've never seen in my history to see a goalkeeper playing as a player. I don't know in my history.
Bring him on! Bring him on! Centre forward. I love it.
Have you ever played centre forward?
Honestly, they would.
Yes, centre forward, centre back, centre midfield, until they realised I was terrible.
Well, just 6 minutes left here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena before the 90 minutes are complete. Barça continuing their winning ways in the preseason so far, 3-0, and that following the 4-0 against Nàstic de Tarragona and the 3-1 against Girona. So all positive signs for Ronald Koeman so far in this preseason.
Absolutely, it's really positive, and you know, he has experienced players there. The problem we had last season, I say we, the problem Barca had last season was defensive holds. For me, the counter-attack, they were really exposed, and the reasons for that is because players were giving the ball away. They were in possession, they were giving the ball away in higher areas on the pitch and putting the defenders under pressure. It's not just the defenders' fault, it's the attacking players as well. And you know, Koeman brought in players that's definitely going to help that, with the likes of Eric Garcia. I'm very excited to see how he fits into the team. You've also got Emerson Royal, who we spoke about before, who's going to be a massive benefit, not just for his attacking play, but he's a very, very good defensive player. Also retains the ball very, very well, so that gives the other players confidence. And then you've got Agüero up top, who will finish the chances, and all those chances that they missed last season, I believe Agüero is going to put them away. I think we're going to see a totally different team.
Well, unfortunately there, Niels Mortimer called for offside, but it was Riqui Puig here, or Yusuf Demir rather, but it was Riqui Puig here regaining possession for Barça.
A really, really good idea.
Has tried to finish the action. He wants more and more, but in the end, yeah, the action has been disallowed, and he wasn't happy at all. And I don't know if well, in the replays, but Yusuf Demir thought that he was onside.
Yeah, no, he definitely looked offside, to be honest. But it was a great ball by Riqui Puig. But Demir just needed to pull off a little bit, and this is with experience. He'll get that. He can look across the line and just pull a little bit wider, which will give Riqui Puig a much better passing angle as well.
Again, more applauses coming from the home crowd here. Of course, so happy to be able to support their team again. It is the first time that they are seeing their team live in action again. And even despite losing and suffering this 3-0 defeat for the moment, these home fans certainly look very happy to be packing the stadium once again, as Sergio Roberto holds play and gets booked with a yellow card.
Well,
first yellow card of the game. Yeah, first yellow card of the game, and I don't know if in the 86 minutes that we are right now, I mean, the ref has controlled more or less well the match, but well, a yellow card that is just going to be, it's not going to be important, of course, for the team.
No, but it was very, very blatant, and Sergio Busquets, 2 arms on the shoulder and dragged him down. I'm sure he's going to be the target of the jeers and the boos for the next 3 minutes.
perhaps a bit of lack of match fitness showing there in Sergio Busquets. So it was definitely a very obvious foul. But Emma, just wanted to expand on the point you made regarding Barça's defense and the worries that they brought you last season. Now, these kind of preseason friendlies obviously are typically played against, let's call them more humble teams. But when Juventus rolls around, is that maybe the first serious test that the defense will face, at least before the league starts, against a very dangerous and attacking side in Real Sociedad?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, this is where Koeman needs to try and start his defensive 3 or 4, whatever he's deciding to play. That's important to get that right, and I think that's the start.
Well, we've just got under 2 minutes left here in Stuttgart remaining in this game that is still 3-0 to Barça. We're going to say goodbye to our pitchside reporter, Bruno, because you've got some business to take care of and some people to talk to in the post-match.
Of course, we're going to take now our position for the post-match interviews. A big pleasure. Diego, Emma, let's see if in this final minute we can sing another goal.
Let's hope so, Bruno.
And we're excited to know what you have up your sleeve with Memphis Depay. Just speaking about what happened there, Yusuf Demir got a really tough tackle there to the back, and it was really a thump in the back, and can be quite a dangerous tackle, and it's something that you don't want to see. Obviously Stuttgart are a little bit frustrated. For me, they look tired, which is very unusual considering they're starting their season next week. But it's where you have to protect these kind of players, and this is going to happen a lot to a player like Yusuf Demir, and it's something that I'm sure Messi can give him some advice on.
Is that something done on purpose by, say, the more veteran players to sort of welcome, quote-unquote, welcome the younger players to the big leagues?
Boys league. I believe so. I mean, it's not something that I'm sure people would admit, but if you're an experienced player and you have this young kid who's ran rings around you all games, it must be very frustrating.
Well, there he is right here, tracking all the way back again. Yusuf, one of the players who will be playing the full 90 minutes here, and we've been absolutely enjoying his performance.
Yeah, and it's just, for me, he just gets better and better each game. And I mean, he's very young. But he doesn't look at it. He looks like he's lots of experience. As you said before, he actually does have experience, but he's physical as well. As you've just seen, he tracks back and he's able to shrug people off the ball. But it's when he's on the ball, he's got the talent, and just fantastic coming in from the right-hand side there.
Well, Emma, that is it. Referee Tobias Reichel will call the end of the match. The 90 minutes have been played here in the Mercedes-Benz Arena, and Barça come away again with another victory, their third consecutive victory that is in this preseason friendly. It is Barça 3 and Stuttgart 0. Goals being scored by Ricky Puig, Yusuf Demir, and the opener came thanks to Dutchman Memphis Depay. Do stay with us for all the post-game action, of course. Emma and myself and Bruno still have lots to cover, but it's Barça 3, Stuttgart 0.
So, bevor es jetzt gleich nochmal die Highlights der Halbzeit 2 gibt, nochmal ein Hinweis, liebe Fußballfans, von den Auswärtsspielen mehr als jetzt bitte beachten die Ablauf, dass wir zunächst damit sich größere Ansammlungen vermeiden lassen. Vielen Dank.
Well, it is Barça 3, Stuttgart 0. Again, Barça continuing their winning ways over in German territory. I am joined by Emma. Emma, what are your big takeaways from this match?
Well, it's quite interesting to see that how much Memphis Depay has enjoyed today's game. It really looked like he was enjoying himself out there. I think that himself, I think Griezmann, and I think Demir were absolutely on fire up there with the front three. And I think Griezmann and Memphis have gelled quite well together. But also, you know, the midfield, you could see that they're finding their feet. You had Gavi, Nico Gonzalez. I think they had an excellent game. De Jong just showed his class as always. And I just think in general, defensively, they did